That's impersonating law enforcement.
I'm worried all the time at the jail before, though.
Okay, well that might be true and fine within the jail, but when you come out to public...
Let's dive into the tangled webs of deception spun by individuals impersonating law enforcement, from the bustling streets of Albuquerque to the quiet corners of Whitehall, Ohio.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is you're not even a police officer.
Okay.
You are currently not a full-time or a part-time police officer anywhere. Reserve.
Witness the shocking unraveling of false identities. Experience the heart-pounding moments as each pretender, driven by ambition or confusion, faces the ultimate reality check.
Hey, Brendan. In the meanwhile, man, until I get somebody out here, man, do me a favor. I'm not going to handcuff you, but I'm going to have you sit in the back of my car, all right?
All right.
Do you have anything on you, man? Any weapons or anything?
Keys.
Okay.
Keys and wallet.
That's fine. Just have a seat, all right?
All right.
Try to get everything cleared up, man. Just have a seat.
Brendan Wisinski. In the bustling streets of Albuquerque on a seemingly ordinary evening on September 9, 2019. Brendan Wisinski, a young man posing as law enforcement officer, was about to have his life turned upside down. Brendan's encounter with the police begins. He spins a tale of being in a rush to the courthouse, claiming to work for the sheriff's office. His story is riddled with inconsistencies evident in his nervous explanations.
I'll talk to her for a minute.
How you doing?
What's going on, man? Let's just talk back here real quick. Who do you work for?
Early Sheriff's Office.
Oh, okay.
I know, I'm under-equipped.
Okay, because normally, dude, if we're out here, man, if you're making a traffic stop, you're just gonna have to stop, dude. Alright? Are you... You say you work for Early Sheriff's?
Yes, sir.
Okay, do you have an ID with you?
I mean, this is all I got on me. Like I said, I'm under-equipped. I was just heading over there to the courthouse
To the courthouse for what?
to get my crap.
Okay.
I know, it makes no sense. I caught him going 120 down I-40.
Okay. Why do you have lights on this vehicle?
Personal? I know.
Do you have an ID with you at all?
No, I keep it on my uniform.
Okay. What's your name?
Brendan Wisinski.
As the officers delve deeper, Brendan's facade starts to crumble. He admits to buying his badge online, a stark contrast to his earlier claim of it being his father's.
Simple. And I'm not here to mess with you, man. It's just the thing is, yeah, he was speeding, dude. You could have called it in, and because if you get into shooting, you're screwed.
Right.
All right, man.
I understand.
Right.
This, for starters, I know this looks really bad.
Right.
This looks really bad. This screams whacker.
Right. How long you been on?
About 3 years.
Okay. I've been on for like 13 years. All right. So, I'm not saying I'm perfect, and I'm not saying that I've never done anything to against protocol, but you need to be a little bit more careful, all right?
Yes, sir.
So just do me a favor, hang tight for a second, okay?
Yes, sir.
And we're gonna, and that's it, all right? Once we're done here, just give me a bit, all right?
The officers, exhibiting a mix of professionalism and empathy, decide not to handcuff Brendan, but to ask him to sit in the back of their vehicle while they investigate further.
Hey, Brendan. In the meanwhile, man, until I get somebody out here, man, do me a favor. I'm not going to handcuff you, but I'm going to have you sit in the back of my car, all right?
All right.
Do you have anything on you, man? Any weapons or anything?
Keys.
Okay.
Keys and wallet.
That's fine. Just have a seat, all right?
All right.
Try to get everything cleared up, man. Just have a seat.
The truth unravels. Brendan is not an employee of any law enforcement agency. His deception becomes clear, leading to his eventual arrest.
So he's not a BCSO employee at all?
No. But we're going to have BCSO come out anyways, just because he's impersonating a BCSO, and he looked like a BCSO badge.
Do you have him detained now?
Yeah, he's in the back of my car.
Okay.
Just because, like, I don't know who you are. You don't have anything other than a badge. You don't even have an ID on it. So, that's where we're at.
Okay.
I haven't been him his rights or anything. He just told me that statement and I was free will. Yeah, it was just really weird.
Yeah, definitely.
Step out of the vehicle for a second, man. Okay, face the vehicle. At this point right now, you are being under arrest. Do you understand?
In a solemn moment, Brendan is read his Miranda rights. The officers start a detailed interrogation, uncovering more about his life, including his job as a parking security officer.
Before I start everything, I just want to advise you of your Miranda rights, okay? You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you in court. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be provided to you by court. At this time, if you wish to talk to me, you can stop talking to me at any time. Would you like to talk to me about what happened tonight?
Yeah, I'm as well. I'll own it.
Okay, so well, let's start from the beginning. So what happened tonight?
Well, you just want.
Just tell me from the beginning what happened before I approached you.
I was going to work. You caught this guy flying down the highway at 120.
Mm-hmm. Where do you work at?
I work at Albuquerque Courtesy and Parking.
Courtesy and Parking?
Mm-hmm.
Is that for the city or who does that for?
It's a security company.
Okay. And say that again? The Albuquerque
Courtesy and Parking.
Courtesy and Parking. Okay. Okay.
Brendan's vehicle, now a crucial piece of evidence, is towed away. He laments the loss of his personal items, still struggling to grasp the gravity of his actions.
Nah, man, your car got towed.
Yeah, I know. It's in the impound lot now.
Yep.
You guys at least got my stuff out of there, right?
What do you mean?
My phone and stuff.
So, since it's being seized for evidence, everything stays in there.
God damn it.
Yeah, buddy. Can't be pretending to be a cop.
Yeah, I know. I'm stupid.
Lesson learned, right?
The officers explain the legal process to Brendan, who is visibly overwhelmed by the situation. His future, once certain, now hangs in the balance.
So how is this all going to work?
What do you mean?
So when I get to the jail, I'm going to get processed and everything, then how do we...
And then, honestly, you will probably be released by tomorrow. And then, so, they are gonna forward this case to a detective, and he's just gonna come out and talk to you and see what's going on.
Okay.
And then, after that, obviously, you're gonna have court, and then from there, it's just, you just go through the process. It could be a long process, it could be a short process.
The narrative concludes with Brendan handcuffed and defeated, pondering his actions and their consequences, as the police car drives off into the night. It's not clear what Brendan was charged with, but impersonating an officer is a serious offense. We now shift our attention to Choctaw, Oklahoma, where another young man, Jedson Jones, finds himself entangled in a similar web of deception and ambition.
That's fine. If you wouldn't mind, go ahead and take the vest off and just sit it in the car.
Jedson Jones. In the streets of Choctaw, Oklahoma in April, an incident unfolds that catches the eye of local law enforcement. The focus is on a 19-year-old individual from Tennessee named Jedson Jones, caught in a complex web of impersonation and misrepresentation. Our story begins with a routine check by a police officer who questions Jedson about weapons in his car. Despite his assertion of innocence, his attire raises suspicion, a vest usually worn by officers. The young man, defensive and agitated, claims to have driven all the way from Tennessee, frustrated by the scrutiny he faces.
Do you have any weapons in the car or anything like that? Like a gun or anything?
I don't even have a gun. Okay. I'm 19 years old. I ain't gonna cause if this is gonna cause problems and the truck's over there, I'm just gonna take out the vest. And I'm from Tennessee, so.
Okay. Why are you wearing the vest?
Well, like I said, I drove from all the way from Tennessee, but I'm not gonna have people call me when I don't even live in this damn state.
Okay.
It's gonna piss me off.
You're a deputy sheriff?
I work at the sheriff's office.
Okay.
So, what?
Were you a corrections officer for the
Yes.
sheriff's office? Okay. Why do you wear a vest outside of the facility? I took my crap off, especially if I was taking a long drive from Tennessee.
That's what I say, man. If I
Look,
work
I
a 10-hour
will tell you
shift,
guys
I'm
the
not
same
gonna-
thing. I have been pulled over so many times in Tennessee and Arkansas.
Right.
Okay? They know. I have told them every single
That
time.
might be true, but It's just a little odd.
As the conversation progresses, the officer's suspicion grows. The young man, lacking any official identification from the sheriff's office where he claims to be employed, struggles to justify his attire and the presence of alcohol in his vehicle.
You all think I'm lying, I mean,
Oh, so my only deal is when you wear...
Finance, Campbell County. Here you go.
Yeah. Are you commissioned to carry a gun?
No, I'm not even...
You're not?
No.
Okay.
I don't even have a gun on me.
Well, you realize wearing the sheriff on your chest is basically impersonating law enforcement,
Is that
whether or not you're carrying a gun.
Jackson?
Okay. But are you commissioned to be carrying a gun, and do you have arrest powers?
I don't. What do you mean? I don't even have a gun.
That's beside the fact. You're wearing a patch that says sheriff.
Okay.
That's impersonating law enforcement.
I wore it all the time at the jail before, though.
Okay, well that might be true and fine within the jail, but when you come out to public, you don't have any arrest powers. You're not commissioned. Do you understand?
I understand that. I don't understand what you're talking
And you got alcohol in the vehicle.
Well, it's not mine.
Well, that's beside the point.
It's my girlfriend. And I don't drink, so...
Well, it doesn't matter.
The plot thickens with the revelation of an open container in the car, further complicating the young man's predicament. His explanations seem feeble against the officer's pointed inquiries.
I mean, there's proof right there. But like I told him, I just want to take it off. I'll take it off.
That's fine. I'd much rather you just take the sheriff patch off.
I mean, I could do that.
Because if you're not commissioned to be a sheriff deputy or a police officer,
well, you're a sheriff, and I understand why you got that.
I am a deputy sheriff. Yes.
But I'm trying to be nice to you. I'm trying to be nice to you. I understand why you got called.
Right. But if you walk around with a vest carrier on with sheriff on your chest and you're not a sheriff, you may work for the sheriff's office, but you work in a jail and you're not commissioned outside of the jail to carry a gun or have any arrest powers.
Okay, I understand.
All right?
But I told him I'll just take it off because...
Okay.
The young man's story takes a turn when he mentions his aspiration to become a police officer and his current visit to his mother in Oklahoma City.
And I'm trying to be a cop, but...
And you're 19?
Yeah, I'm 19, but they won't let me be they don't. I've already put applications in, but I still got residents down there in Tennessee, obviously.
Right.
You know, I got address on there.
So what are you going to Oklahoma City for?
Huh?
What are you headed to Oklahoma City for?
I'm going to 122 Northwest Street.
What are you doing? Apartment? You live there?
No, my mom does.
Oh, okay. I was just curious.
I mean, I'm not trying to cause any trouble, man.
The turning point comes when the officer asks him to remove his vest, underlining the seriousness of the impersonation of an officer. The young man's resistance fades and he complies, revealing his lack of authority outside the jail premises.
That's fine. If you wouldn't mind, go ahead and take the vest off and just sit it in the car. So do you wear this vest carrier on duty?
No.
In the jail?
I mean, like I can. I usually wear it under my hood shirt.
Okay.
What vehicle was it that you stopped and talked to?
I didn't stop at no vehicle.
No, I mean, you said that you stopped and talked to somebody.
It was some truck, but then he left out of the parking lot.
Okay.
But all I did, literally, I went up to
Let's go ahead. Get the vest off for me. And the only reason I'm having you take it off is so I don't have to worry about the knives or anything. Alright, if you'll just go sit on the curb up there. Why don't we go have a seat in my Tahoe? I'll have a seat in my Tahoe. Are you on the phone?
That's my girlfriend. She lives over there in Lincoln.
Okay. Let me hang up the phone. We can't have people in the back seat with phones. Alright. Thanks.
A deeper investigation reveals the young man's lack of adherence to protocol, as well as his questionable actions in attempting to project an authority he does not possess.
He had to have attempted to act like law enforcement, like trying to make a traffic stop. But
As far as just saying something to somebody.
Wearing what he's saying, or wearing what he's wearing is, I guess, not...
It's kind of protected type thing.
Yeah. He hadn't really crossed the law yet.
Get
But he's walking a fine line.
Yeah.
Like, you haven't been to work in 2 weeks. So you haven't been to work in 2 weeks, but you're wearing the uniform pants, duty style looking shoes, and a vest carrier.
Well, I mean, like, I'm trying to go back to work, though. I mean, my cousin's a gentleman, sure. I'm trying to be a cop up here, but none of you guys will hire me.
Well, it's kind of a process to get hired.
I don't understand. Tennessee's different from Oklahoma, because Tennessee got me on less than, like, 3 weeks.
Right.
But Oklahoma, I've rarely called, and they're like, Edmund doesn't. Like,
Edmund hires once a year.
Yeah. And you got to have a bachelor's degree.
It's not. I mean, I only have a 6th degree.
Okay. Yeah. Edmund has kind of high standards. You got to have a bachelor's degree.
The climax arrives as the officer arrests the young man for impersonating law enforcement. His dreams and claims crumble under the weight of the law as he faces the consequences of his actions. Jones was taken into custody and charged with impersonating an officer and transporting an open container. We now shift our focus to Whitehall, Ohio. Here, another complex case of impersonation unfolds with Casey Donovan Williams, whose actions on a seemingly ordinary day draw the scrutiny of local police.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is you're not even a police officer. You are currently not a full-time or a part-time police officer anywhere.
Reserve.
Casey Donovan Williams. In the quiet streets of Whitehall, Ohio, an unusual scene unfolds on a regular day. Casey Williams, a young man caught in the complex act of impersonation, becomes the center of attention on September 9, 2019. The incident begins when officers approach Casey, questioning his presence in a cruiser equipped with red and blue lights. He claims to work for a security company hiring only off-duty officers, but admits he's not currently a police officer.
Hi there. There. So, you're an actual Cleveland police officer?
No, I'm not with Cleveland PD. I work for Cleveland Watchmen. We're a security company that hires only off-duty police officers to do traffic control.
Are you an off-duty police officer?
Yeah.
So, who are you with?
Pickaway Sheriff's Office.
Pickaway.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So you're out of
They do.
Ohio, and you're here working in Franklin County in Whitehall as an off-duty police officer.
No, I'm working as a security guard. So we do.
No, you're uniform marked as a police officer. You're working as a police officer right now with a car that has red and blue lights on it.
Yeah.
All
so
right.
I've got some paperwork I can give to you from.
Absolutely, and I'll need to get your information. I've been asked to come up here by my deputy chief and get that.
Okay.
Suspicion escalates as Casey's story unravels. He mentions working as a security guard while wearing a police uniform and driving a vehicle with police lights, leading to deeper scrutiny by the officers.
Are you full-time over in Pickaway?
I live in Pickaway, so
74 to 105.
So I left the sheriff's office there. I'm going to. I was full-time there. I left full-time as a jail up there.
So you're not even a police officer?
Under questioning, Casey's facade crumbles. He reveals he's not currently employed as a police officer, but is supposedly starting a new position in a small village police department.
Currently, I'm starting a new commission with a village up in Richland County. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but what I'm saying is you're not even a police officer. You are currently not a full-time or a part-time police officer anywhere.
Reserve.
Okay, where are you a reserve officer at?
So, give me a second. I'll give you the name of the village because it got hooked up through the company here that I'm working with. So.
Okay, you have an ID from that village?
Not with me, no.
Not with you?
No.
The officers discover Casey's badge from Pickaway County, where he previously worked, further entangling him in a web of deceit as he fails to provide any current identification.
Do you have a badge?
Yes.
What was that badge you were displaying earlier?
That's my old Pickaway one.
So you have a Pickaway County badge, but you don't work for them?
It's a previous one from there, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You have that with you currently?
Yeah, it's a flex badge.
Can I see that, please?
Yeah. From
the company's trying to get you a reserve commission?
They already got one.
They already got one?
So the guy that owns the company, he's in my unit for the guard. And then another guy that's in my unit is Chief of Police, Sergeant Prober. And let me call John, who is the command sergeant major in my unit. He's also the
Okay, those are all military people, right?
Yeah, but he's the owner of this company. He's the owner of this company. So let me call him.
That's fine.
Casey's situation worsens when he admits he's not commissioned as a police officer anywhere. Yet he's armed and impersonating an officer.
This is what he was displaying. It's fake.
That's cool. Well, maybe that's
he is armed.
Okay.
He's fully armed, acting as a police officer. He has a vest on that says police. All right. Now, he says that he worked for Pickaway County Sheriff's Office, but he no longer works for them. And I said, well, let me see that badge you were displaying. He said, well, and I said, no, let me see the badge you were just displaying when I pulled up. Because he was showing it to Jeff Hart.
As the officers debate the legal ramifications of Casey's actions, they consider charging him with impersonating a police officer due to his attire, equipment, and the vehicle's lights.
He's got a badge on him with a claiming to be an officer. They didn't need him hauled around, write all that up about who he is and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, if you want to, he's out here regulating. He's out here it's not impersonating. I think that's the theft offense. Impersonating a police officer. Make sure, if you don't know this, Joe White, there's two different impersonators. There's one called impersonating a police officer, one called personating a police officer. One of them, I think the impersonating is under the theft section, where you're doing it. I think.
Well, I'm trying to
get
some. Before I go that route,
you'd have to see which one applies. And I'm not sure about.
Before I go that route, I definitely want to find if he has a commission with Village of Glenmont.
Yeah.
Then yes.
Right. But either way, he's not working for them right now, so that light doesn't come on, and he displays nothing that says police. And then I'm okay with that resolution too, if that's where you end up going.
But wouldn't he get a CCW charge too if he didn't have a concealed carry, but he has it on?
Yes.
Well, he's open carrying.
Oh, he's open. It's fine.
But he's in the vehicle.
Further investigation reveals that Casey was fired from his previous job at Pickaway County and is currently not employed as a police officer, intensifying the seriousness of his impersonation.
Did you contact Pickaway?
I did. I talked contact Lieutenant.
All right. What was their take on it? What did they?
He said absolutely not. He's left a while. He left before I left because he was under investigation and he was going to be dismissed. So he chose to quit before that investigation ended.
Did they get all their badges back?
Yes, that's a made one.
I know, but that's what I'm saying, because when I initially asked him, he said he had a Pickaway County badge.
That one.
Well, and that's when I said, show me.
Yeah, it has to be checked off. When you leave, you have to turn in your ID.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
So, yes,
I want to make sure he does not have anything else on him.
No, so he probably because he worked in the jail, he never worked the road. So when he worked in the jail, our deputies still get the deputy badges. So he probably scanned, because that looks like it's just a sticker. So he probably scanned that, had that pre-made before he left, turned in all his stuff, and then left. Which Lieutenant's requesting a copy of the report as well, because he's pretty pissed off that he's representing Pickaway County.
I understand. All right. Yeah, you guys are good then. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Casey's attempt to explain his situation fails to convince the officers, as inconsistencies in his story and a lack of proper identification culminate in his arrest.
Probably the impersonation of a police officer.
So the best thing to do right now is to just take off the belt.
All right, so let's step over here and take care of that first.
Smith, right here. Right here. Right. Take off the belt, and then I'm going to switch.
You don't have anything else on you, do you?
No.
All right. No, don't reach in. All right, you should know the drill.
The final moments see Casey charged with impersonating a police officer as he pleads for leniency, realizing the gravity of his actions and their impact on his future. Casey is facing felony charges, accused of impersonating a police officer and improperly handling a firearm. From one rent-a-cop to another, our story shifts to Georgia.
There's your ID back.
Thank you.
Look, given with all the light and permit and stuff that I'm seeing, I'm just going to assume everything's properly permitted and stuff for the vehicle.
It is, sir.
That said, with what my chief's observation, the use of those are for strictly business purposes. You can't be using it to pull into traffic, okay?
Jedson Mackey. In September, an individual claiming to be an off-duty hero operator and running a private company is confronted by the police for questionable activities in Acworth, Georgia. Jedson Mackey, self-identified as an off-duty hero operator and owner of a private company, is stopped by the police. He asserts his role, yet his actions raise suspicions of impersonating a police officer.
Who do you work for? This is my company. I'm an off-duty hero operator. This is my company. Okay. Yeah, I do for no details. Yeah. So look like me, you're impersonating a police officer. Oh, no, sir. I'm not impersonating, sir.
Questioned about the red emergency lights on his car, he defensively explains their use in traffic, further intensifying the officer's doubts about his true intentions.
You got any ID on you? Yes, sir. If you look in the front. If you look in the front. Yes, I see red lights. I saw red lights when you pulled out. Yeah, that's sir. That's when it activated to the back. Yeah. Where's your ID? Right, yes, Chief.
Tension escalates with the discovery of tinted windows and a gun, alongside the valid lighting permit, which raises questions about its legality for red lights.
Do you have a lighting permit for the vehicle?
Yeah, right there on the glass.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
It works.
Be right back with you, okay? He's got a lighting permit on the... I'm just looking at this, sir.
The police begin to piece together the situation, suspecting misuse of emergency equipment for personal gain in traffic.
The commissioner shall authorize the use of red or amber flashing or revolving lights only when the person or governmental agency shall demonstrate to the commissioner a proven need for equipping a vehicle with emergency lights. Fee for such lights by municipal. Okay, so that says authorize the use of red or amber. So I don't provided a county municipal agency as defined.
It's not an emergency permit.
He has a lighting permit, yeah.
But I think that's the one he has, because they're different colors, I think. The one he has is that.
The officers, unsure of the exact legalities, continue their investigation, seeking clarity on the permissible use of different colored lights.
You don't have to have a light or permit for white.
Yeah, not white. Amber you do. And that's what you see, like tow trucks, funeral services, use amber.
The suspect, Mr. Mackey, is handed back his ID, and the officers, assuming the legitimacy of his permits, decide to issue a citation for unlawful operation of an emergency vehicle, focusing on the misuse of lights for personal benefit.
There's your ID back.
Thank you.
Look, given with all the lighting permit and stuff I'm seeing, I'm just going to assume everything's properly permitted and stuff for the vehicle.
It is, sir.
That said, with what my chief's observation, you know, the use of those are for strictly business purposes. You can't be using it to pull into traffic, okay?
Yes, sir.
So I am going to issue a citation for unlawful operation for emergency vehicle, okay? Just here.
I know, let me just talk to Chief real quick before, because I'm telling you how it's going to work. Even though I'm doing this on my private side, once I get this ticket, GDOT is going to ground me again. I'm going to get grounded. And that's why I'm trying to don't interfere my personal business with GDOT. Anytime they run a driver's license number, I'm going to get grounded. I ask the chief, please.
Our story concludes with the suspect's acceptance of the citation, his acknowledgement of the court date, and a final plea to the chief, emphasizing his prior law enforcement background in the Bahamas, and his desire to avoid misrepresentation.
Once you contact that number, they'll tell you all your options if you can just pay it outright, and they'll explain your payment problems.
Hey, Chief, have you got a business card? Yes, sir. Can I step out?
Yeah. And you're all hot, but what about all these people in there?
I know. That's like
the windows for them.
Yeah, I'm trying to crack the window right now, Chief.
Won't you open all the windows so that?
No, the thing is, when I ride, the air, the compressor's gonna kick in. Yeah. Chief.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be no pain in your hip, but Chief, please, man, I don't want to get grounded. Please, from GDOT, please.
Mackey was charged with felony impersonation of an officer, and his trial is pending. Stay tuned for our next unusual encounter with the law leaves us questioning the thin line between reality and deception.
The issue we have here is you're dressed as law enforcement. You're in a vehicle that's outfitted as law enforcement. So therefore, somebody's going to mistake you as law enforcement when you're not law enforcement.
I never got out the vehicle.
Okay, but usually when a concerned citizen sees somebody that they believe to be impaired, they call us. They don't flash lights.
I was on the phone at the same time.
So what lights did you flash?
I have my takedowns.
So you flashed your takedowns?
Yeah.
Omar Ford. Meet Omar Ford, a security guard dressed in a law enforcement-like uniform, driving a vehicle equipped with strobe lights and sirens. This incident occurred in Winter Park, Florida on March 29, 2020, as the guard was returning home from his shift. Our story begins with the guard noticing a car driving erratically, believing the driver to be intoxicated. He attempts to alert him by flashing his lights and honking his horn, expressing concern for the driver's safety.
I'm going to be doing like 25. I change into the left lane gear and go to pass him, and he gets behind me with his and turns on these white lights and his siren trying to pull me over. So I'm like, why is the security guy trying to pull me over?
So we cover 28.
Confused and concerned, the other driver contacts emergency services, reporting a false law enforcement officer. This call sets in motion the arrival of actual police officers to the scene.
The front and everything. And then he had a siren on too. And I could hear it because I had the it's like, wee, 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 and he's like changing between the siren tones, and he's like right on my ass, and I'm like, is this guy trying to pull me over? Because he has white lights. And then I'm like, I don't know what he's doing. And then he goes, pulls up next to me with his window down, his light's still on. He goes, yeah, you just saw the when you're passing me. And I'm like, are you pulling me over? And he goes, you just need to slow down right now. And I'm like, so I stopped. And I'm like, okay, like, are you trying to pull me over? So then I just called 911. I'm like, hey.
You know it's false LEO because he's doing traffic stops with all this COVID thing going on. Someone didn't get the memo.
You're damn right about that.
The real police upon arrival point out the inappropriateness of the guards' actions, highlighting the concerned citizens typically alert the authorities rather than take matters into their own hands.
Well, I mean, the issue we have here is you're dressed as law enforcement. You're in a vehicle that's outfitted as law enforcement. So therefore, somebody's going to mistake you as law enforcement when you're not law enforcement.
I never got out the vehicle.
Okay, but usually when a concerned citizen sees somebody that they believe to be impaired, they call us. They don't flash lights.
I was on the phone at the same time.
So what lights did you flash?
I have my takedowns.
So you flashed your takedowns?
Yeah.
The guard's use of strobe lights and sirens is scrutinized, indicating a serious misunderstanding of his role as a security guard versus that of a law enforcement officer. You know, a rent-a-cop.
Hey, so what was he flashing you with?
White lights.
Like steady?
Strobe. No.
Strobing?
The front. Yeah, on the front of the car. The whole front of the car lights up with strobes.
Yeah.
So, and like I said, he was just right on my ass, and then he was hitting the siren, which I could hear because I had the top down, and he was like going through the different siren tones. And I'm like, so I slow down. And I'm like, then he gets next to me and he goes, you need to slow the and I was like, are you pulling me over? And he's like, you need to slow down right now. Okay, so I'm going to pull over. And then I called 911. I was like, yo, this isn't cool. So.
All right. Did he get on he said he got on the PA. Did he get on the PA?
Maybe he was on the PA, but he was next to me when he was doing it. Okay. So.
The situation reaches a critical point when the police discover the guard is carrying a firearm. For safety, they decide to disarm him temporarily during the investigation.
Do you have your permit or everything?
Yeah,
You got
that's
your
what
ID?
I'm looking for right now. Yeah, and as I said, he was just going fast, and his car danced a little bit. I mean, he flew past me, so I was like, oh, shoot, he's going to get himself hurt out here. So I pulled up next to him.
Hey, just for our safety, I'm just going to have you put your hands up there, and I'm just going to remove your firearm for you. Put it in the car, all right?
Okay.
Just put your hands on top.
We're 10-4.
The police officers expressed their concerns about the guard's vehicle, marked as a police interceptor equipped with red lights and his actions that could easily be mistaken for an official law enforcement.
You got red lights on the back. You got red lights on the back.
Like he's gonna.
Where was this at, Bryce?
Okay.
Why am I not quiet?
Huh?
I was like, what is this?
These are red.
The story culminates as the police decide to press charges for impersonating a law enforcement officer, despite the guard's insistence on his good intentions. His actions, while meant to safeguard, crossed a legal boundary, leading to unintended consequences. His case was sent to pretrial intervention agreement. Ford is prohibited from carrying firearms, must be in contact with pretrial intervention officers, and comply with all the instructions the officer gives. If he does so, the charges will be dropped.